So this is your
Right.
segment. I'm going to turn it over to you, Adrian. Who is our hidden gem for the week?
All right. So the hidden gem for the week is so we're still in DC.
All right.
We was in Christmas. We kind of did both for Christmas, but so we got a new DC character, not a new DC character, a character that's been around since the '70s. A female character. Speaking of minority, a minority female superhero
You're
character,
checking all
and
the
this week's
boxes.
character, right. This week's character is Vixen. Now we've seen her portrayed. Um, she's been in comics. She actually had her own initially, then it was canceled. She's been in a lot of the animation stuff, on TV. I think she's been in live action, like a show a couple of times. So she's been around. But the reason I chose her this week is because her power set is again underrated. And like most of these characters, these hidden gems, she got started, then they kind of canceled her for whatever reason, mostly political stuff, or the fact that they wanted to, pump up the other characters.
Mm.
But so she is from in DC they make up these cities and towns and stuff. So it's like a fake African town, right?
Okay.
Back in the day, her parents were killed by the father's brother, who turned out to be this tyrant. But she was being passed down this amulet that was made by the Nasi. That's a African like a mythical figure.
Yep.
This warrior Tantu asked him to make this amulet that would give the wearer the powers of any animal on the planet, right? Prehistoric or current. And so he did. And basically, if you use it for good, then you can harness all the powers of any animal on the planet. If you're not a good person, I guess, then there's some kind of side effect. It's not that you can't harness the powers, but it'll be like something beastly or monstrous or something like that. So in other words, not what it was intended for.
Got it.
So her parents were killed, and she got shot over to America, raised by somebody else. She became this supermodel back in the day. So that's how she kind of made her money. But so she was getting around. She had established her own self, and at some point, this amulet activated, and she realized and found all these powers and all this other kind of stuff. She eventually went back to her homeland, and started seeking out, because she had like a mental block, and she forgot all this stuff. She forgot all this trauma, and she knew that her uncle killed her mother and her father, right? But she had blocked this stuff for years and went on to become this supermodel. But anyway, all this stuff came back, and she used the amulet basically to get revenge against her uncle. Um, and then she just started popping around. She was with the Suicide Squad for a minute. Ultimately, came in with the Justice League, but her powers were kind of unstable, right? And so she would tap into like the powers of like a Wolverine per se, not the character Wolverine, but an animal Wolverine.
Yeah.
And we're going to these berserker modes and stuff. So she couldn't completely control all this stuff. So at some point, because of that, she got kicked out of the Justice League. But then Batman brought her back in when he re-jump started the Justice League. What's fascinating to me about this character is it's like, Beast Boy, also DC, of the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
He gets all these little credits and stuff. He's all over the place. But this person so Beast Boy actually physically turns into an animal. Vixen harnesses the power, the strength, the speed of the animal. She doesn't, well, in some sets, she has been able to turn into certain animals, wolves, things like that. But mostly she harnesses the power of, so she can fly. And it's also, I forget the term, but so her powers are exponential. So for example, she can harness the speed of like some kind of fly or bee, but so she can fly like 800 five times faster than the speed of sound or something like that. Or her strength, she has the strength of like an ant, but exponentially it's 800 times. She can lift 800 times her weight, things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So she taps into this energy from the earth, so that's why she can tap tap the powers of pretty much any animal, alive, prehistoric, or current. Now, in some sets, she was able to tap into other people's powers. Like for one time, she started sapping off, and sapping is the correct word because it's not like Rogue who touches you and can duplicate your power. Actually, it is kind of like Rogue, because Rogue kind of taps your powers too. She kind of drains your power away from you.
Okay.
So she realized that with Superman. So at some point, she was able to actually tap the powers of super characters, right? And transform into animals. The question is whether or not she can do that on other planets, because her powers are tied to it's called a morphosphere or more some kind, but it's magic. But so it's tied directly into Earth. So if she goes into other planets, it's questionable whether or not she'll be able to duplicate the powers of other animals on other planets. But the thing about it is that that's a lot of power, and I think it's severely underrated, especially when you got somebody like the Beast Boy, run around turning into elephants and snakes and birds and shit.
Right.
So she's not only does she have that power set, but she's also a very good combatant. Obviously she's made her own money, right?
Yeah.
And she got to the point where even Batman, and you know how Batman is, Batman allowed her to take over the Justice League in his absence.
Wow.
And that's not something that he does casually.
Mm.
So I think this person, even though she's been portrayed decently, in the television series and film and stuff like that, I think she's highly underrated. And her power set is just unique. Definitely better than Beast Boy. And but that's it for this week.
Nice.
Vixen.
Would Vixen beat the Beast Boy?
Oh, absolutely. Because again, Beast Boy can change into things, and he has the power of those things.
Yeah.
But and also in Beast Boy's his stuff is like more mutagenic. Her stuff is magic.
Yeah.
Actually, her claws are so hard, and because they're imbued with magic, she's actually been able to cut into like Superman skin. Because remember, what are Superman's vulnerabilities besides being a pussy?
You're gonna upset some fans, Adrian.
Kryptonite.
Yep.
In all its various forms, and magic, right? Which we saw with Black Adam.
Right.
So she was able to tear into his skin because his stuff is magic.
Yeah.
I mean, because Vixen's power source is magic. So I think she's pretty badass. But I think a lot of this stuff, I think one of the reasons that she was like kind of like cast out, because they do the stereotypical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pausing because I'm looking at deer running through the woods and stuff. but I think she was cast out because, for whatever reason, budget cuts,
yeah,
and all this other kind of stuff. But also they do like a lot of stereotypical with the minority stuff, like they did with Bishop. Like, for example, did you? I didn't mention this, but Bishop, remember Professor X, he was with this chick from Shire. I forget her name. She was like the queen.
Lalandra or something like that.
Lalandra. But her sister, who was Blackbird, right, hooked up with Bishop, and they had a child.
Okay.
And that child her name is, I forget her name, but she's in the comic somewhere. But they do the stereotypical stuff, like with Bishop. They did the stereotypical black male thing. Hooked up with a woman, had the child, and then left and never came back.
Got it.
With her, She was, you know, mentally unstable. And what does the man always do? Well, what we gave you, we can take back. So she lost her powers at some point.
Got it.
They took the medallion back, and then at some point she got it back. So I don't like how they do this stereotypical stuff. What was the chick on the Marvels with the grill?
Oh yeah, the Darben.
Yeah, I mean they do stereotypical shit like that that pisses people off.
Right.
But you know, but they besides the fact that they also underrate them, they make these super powerful people, and then they put them in the trunk somewhere where nobody can see them. So.
Yeah. And I was reading,
dude,
Vixen's been in some animated films, animated series, and even some animated movies and films for DC, right? So I didn't even realize that, but now has she ever been in live action? Was she in some live action TV show? Am I reading that right?
Let me see.
Something in the Arrowverse,
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. They did a incarnation of her vamp or something.
That's
Crisis of Two Earth. She was in Justice League, Superheroes and Huntsman, Green Lantern. She's been in that. So she's been around. Even video games, you know, she's been into. So
yeah,
she's been around. It's not like the character hasn't been around, but I don't think that she's had the prominence that she deserved. Like, for example, she's definitely more interesting than, let's say, the Black Falcon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Falcon. What that Black Falcon?
Falcon America, we're calling him.
But he's definitely more interesting than characters like that. And most of the characters that they bringing out. So
yeah.
Hidden Gem, Vixen.
There you go. Well, good work, dude. Another great hidden gem. Now, no pun intended, but the magic question, Adrian. This question's been upsetting a lot of our friends.
Would she be Black
online.
Adam?
No, would she beat Superman?
I I think that she has the aptitude. I think that she has the power set. The magic gives her an advantage. I don't think that she could all in out beat Superman.
Yeah.
But I think she can definitely give him a run for his money.
Got it.
For reasons other than just the super strength. Because, you know, Superman with the speed, you know, he can just whip around her in, you know, a fraction of a second, break her neck. You know, but then on her side, she does have the magic and she's killed before, so she has that aptitude to kill, which he does not.
Yeah.
So
there you go. And that's a point, you know, so great hidden gem. And if you like this hidden gem, check out the hidden gem playlist on YouTube for weeks upon weeks of other great hidden gems.